This is our first annual Chef's Weekend gathering. A bunch of friends came down from New York City to see the hauler and see what it is that we're up to down here with the Woodlands Pork Project. This is really what we're here for. An incredible aged ham, and to me this is the pinnacle of the charcutier's art, possibly the single greatest food product in the world. Incredibly long history and very tightly intertwined with the survival of the European peoples. And hopefully we like to think of this as being as good as anything that they have in Europe. A ham very similar to this in Tuscany I tasted in 2003 set me on this entire venture, and that was a prosciutto di Cinta Senese that my friend Gianluca Mancarelli raised. And one taste of that set me on this long-term quest. I didn't know at the time that it was nothing but a haunting, a flavor that wouldn't stop coming back in my mind. The depression set in after I came home, and I realized that I was never going to taste that again until I went back to Tuscany. One morning I woke up and said, why the heck can't we do that here? We got good pigs and we've got good trees, and hopefully we can find the people who know how to do it. And I found one of them. He didn't know he was working towards this, and I didn't know we were working towards this, but in fact we both were already on a trajectory course towards this. And even though we didn't know each other, as soon as we met each other we realized very quickly that we were on the same page.
We'll go down to the kind of where it all started, and I'll show you you know, what's planted and who's moving where. But that's, you know, this was an excellent year for mast, and this could be, you know, a better than average year. You know, you can tell by when we go up there, you know, when you look down here, they're crunching, they're busy. And Nick calls me and he says, you know, I'd like you to be a consultant for me. And so he came down and we went to some of my farmers in North Carolina that I was working with, and he says, you know, we really got to go where the mast is. So we came back here, and Nick and I camped up here, and we said, all right, let's put them up here. This article by Ed Bear came up that talked about how tasteless the corporate hog was, because it was, you know, no fat on it, and then it was tough and hard to cook and no flavor. And this guy was a chef, and he had a lot of support from other chefs. So he wrote this article, and I go, bang, I can do that. I can change that in a real hurry. And I brought in these maternal lines from Iowa, and then we started, you know, crossing with the Ossabaw. That first cross, that F1 cross, the Farmer's Hybrid and the Ossabaw, it just made a much more marketable pig. I want that fat on these pigs because I got one shot of collecting the mast. I want all that so you can use it and cook with it.
seeing those guys work is theatre of the first order. These are people who've become close friends of mine over the years. Seeing them cook in the hallowed halls, as it were. I mean, this is as close to being a part of the Oscars for the world of chefs. And the thing I like the most about it is that it really doesn't have a lot of bling. It's just a house where a man lived who loved food, and people just come here for the same reason. These are days that come and go so fast, but I know I'm going to remember on my deathbed. I mean, this is a huge honor for me.
Tonight is all about pork. Specifically, it's the fresh and cured meat of Woodlands pork. It all starts with pigs pastured and forested, pigs of Black Oak Holler Farm, which is in West Virginia, and that's under the supervision of farmer Chuck Talbot, who is right here. Chuck and his partner Nick Heckett, right here. They have partnered with Jay Denham. He is turning out fresh and cured pork under the Woodlands pork name.
Hey y'all, welcome to our hog party. So I met up with Chuck and Nick and started working with them a few years ago. We've become great friends and family over the years, working on perfecting this pork project that we're doing. We've come a long way. Appalachian forest is the largest mass-producing forest in the world, so stick with us. In a few years we'll have the best ham in the world as well. After the meal, Chuck and Nick will be available for some Q&A as well, to get some more details about how Nick dreamt up this idea, and I hope you enjoy your meal. Thanks for coming. That's what it's all about, is getting together with a bunch of your chefs and friends, cooking one big meal together.
Hey, great night, boys.
More pork.
Yeah, pork it. Good pork it.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody who came out tonight. There's a brilliant turnout and wonderful looking people, and I'm glad you all were here to just come out and celebrate with us. I want to thank all the chefs who came, each and every one of you brilliant chefs. You could have run the show on your own, any one of you, and it would have wowed everybody. I know it. A lot of people I want to thank. I want to thank Justin Dean, Bob Perry, a lot of other people taking part here. Some brilliant friends, and we just would not have been able to push this project along without the support of everybody who's been on board. My partner Chuck, been one of my best friends ever. There's a few people here in the room that I'd like to thank personally for coming out. Peter Kaminsky, can we get a round of applause for Peter Kaminsky? I'm really happy my close person friend Bob Del Grosso showed up also, but it made a big deal to me. like to thank our photography crew, Mario, nice one. Came a long way just out of love. Gina and Elaine are around there somewhere, come all the way from Cincinnati just to take part in this. And, fantastic to have the support. Talking really quickly about our product, I got into this several years ago. 2003 was the first time I had the taste of Cincissanese, prosciutto di Cincissanese in Tuscany. And that made me understand immediately that everything I thought I knew about ham was insufficient, and that there are levels and levels beyond. The next realization was, why can't we do that here? And I hopefully have proved a little bit that we can. We have the ability to produce ham here that the Europeans can only dream about in terms of terroir, the Appalachian Mountains and the forest that covers them. It's an oak forest the size of Italy, and there's nothing even remotely like that in Europe. We should be producing the best ham in the world in this country, and there's no reason why we can't. That I say over and again, it's not the pig, it's the place. We could take the pigs off our farm and put them on another farm, and they would not be that product. That is a purely terroir product. Finding the right terroir, finding the right pig, and finding the right people to make it all happen has been really important. So, thank you all for coming.
I'm the farmer, I'm the breeder. I studied this extensively as a PhD student in animal breeding. And it hasn't been but through these chefs and through Nick and trial and error that I really I feel very good about what we're doing. And the component of that is that we've got the domestic breeds, we've got the maternal line, the mother line that can produce a lot of pigs. But to really go up in those woods, we got one shot at it. We got 2 months of acorns, and they really need to get that flavor in 2 months. And if they don't have the fat, they're not going to get it. So it's a waste of time. So the feral pig works like that. And Peter Kaminsky was certainly my mentor on that. Anyway, thank you.
I just wrote, you know.
Yeah.
People take it a lot further.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, it sparked a lot of interest throughout the whole country.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It makes you feel good.
Yeah. It makes me feel good. I mean, you helped create what the, reinvigoration and knowledge of what pork should be.
It's great to hear.
So,
I do.
Yeah, I'm grateful for your writing. I appreciate it.
Keep it up. You're really doing great work.
Thank you.
Well, I guess
I won't make it till then.
really the highlight of the day, of the week, of the month was seeing Chuck and what he's done with these animals. I always thought the guy was a genius, and now he's getting to rock, to do what he does. And just delicious food. And I guess the second favorite thing is ham, because that's my favorite thing in the world. Really like the ham. It was delicious at the beginning of the night, but after it was cut and sat there for a while, and the fat melted a little bit, it was just a dream. So it's a great night.